Welcome to 8 deeply discounted strategy games. The first one on our list is going to be Close Combat Modern Tactics. You'll be battling across the backwoods of America, the streets of Iraq, and the former Soviet Republic. Close Combat Modern Tactics is based off of the professional military training simulator Close Combat Marines. The game was originally released in 2007. However, it was re-released on Steam in 2021. There are tons of hypothetical battlefields for you to fight across. You'll be controlling air support, artillery, and you'll be fighting all kinds of enemy and hostile units. Let's dive into this game. It's called close combat for a reason. While you have air support, tanks, and fire support on your side, the real and final objective can only be secured by close combat. That means you're going to be fighting in tight quarters across alleyways, through trenches, ditches, and over obstacles. Close combat is one of those games that I just can't let go. I play Modern Tactics so much. It's a ton of fun, and I've even created scenarios and mods like the one you're watching right now. This is a Middle East scenario where we have Bradleys, Humvees, and M1 Abrams attacking a deeply fortified insurgent position. We call it air support, artillery support, but that final objective always was out of reach because we did not have enough infantry on the ground to secure it. So in the end, while it was a spectacle and so much fun to battle across, we really needed that real-time infantry action on the battlefield. Your units can dismount vehicles, they can remount them. There's specialized weapons, specialized squads, and soldier types. So you have machine gun teams, you have on map artillery, you have off map artillery, you have anti tank guns, AT4s, javelin teams, and heavy weapons teams. Close combat modern tactics, while it is missing a campaign, it has a ton of scenarios for you to play across, up to 25 based on real world and hypothetical conflicts. You're going to have so much fun in this game, especially if it's a game. The next one on our list is another close combat game, but it is deeply discounted. It is Close Combat The Bloody First. Currently $9.99, 75% off. It normally retails for $40, and I've only ever seen it on sale for $20. So $9.99, that's another $10, and you can pick this game up and have so much fun. It takes you from the 2D environment and brings you into the 3D world. It's set during World War II. There's a major campaign. There's several grand campaigns, and there's tons. Well, there's one grand campaign, 3 theater campaigns, and 11 operations and 36 battles. There's so much content within Close Combat The Bloody First. I have so much fun playing this. It's like a lighter version of Combat Mission, but it just really like brings the series into the 3D world. And I think that was a hard adjustment for a lot of the real hardcore close combat players, but it really maintains like its heritage and what the game is about, which is close combat. So you have fire support, you have infantry, you have tanks, modern weapons, but at the end of the day, all of that doesn't matter because you really need to have the infantry on the battlefield and you really need to outmaneuver, outflank, and just outfight your opponent. Close Combat The Bloody First is really a good game in my opinion. I mean, I've had a ton of fun playing it. I think the camera works great. It does have a few quirks with the camera that I've reported several times, but overall, you're just going to have like a good World War II experience, especially if you find like combat mission to be a bit too technical or a bit too much. Close Combat Bloody First is really like a good bridge between close combat and combat mission. Check it out, $9. You're gonna fight across ridge lines, narrow valleys, and you're really gonna either be the Germans or the Americans. Honestly, I really enjoy this game. I just pick it up and I just play it nonstop. And check it out, guys. Let me know what you think. Welcome to Armored Brigade, a real time tactical war game focused on realism and playability. This game is easy to pick up, easy to play, but difficult to master. It's immersive, it's unrelenting, and you will wage unholy war across the battlefield. You'll drop cluster bombs, you'll use flamethrowers, you'll breach trenches, and you'll just rain ATGM hellfire on the enemy that is on the other side. Armor Brigade is currently 60% off, so it's $15.99 at this time. It does have several DLCs, which you can pick up for 50% off. Armor Brigade is one of those games I just keep coming back to. I've played it over the years. There's 6 DLC nations, and there's 7 base factions as well. So you can be the US, the Soviet Union, the East and the West German, UK, Finland, and Poland. The weapon systems are absolutely fantastic. You have night vision, you have night flares, you have thermals, ATGMs, different types of armor. It is so much fun. You're going to have training level, morale, fatigue, dynamic AI, HQ units, flamethrowers, wire and anti-tank obstacles. Armor Brigade is one of those games I just keep on my channel because it's so much fun to play. It's so easy to pick up. There's a dedicated community creating mods for it, and you're always going to have fun. It's never going to be like this unfun game. The battles are so much fun to watch, especially the combat. The fires are going to light up units. There's smoke on the battlefield. However, there is the new Armor Brigade 2 coming out either this year or next year, hopefully. There's close air support, there's air to air engagements, and there's ground to air radars. Overall, I really, really enjoy Armor Brigade. There's just so many positive things I can say about it. I've dumped so much time into it. The Cold War has gone hot and Europe has been torn apart, and you're just going to have so much fun with it, and I know you will. Let me know if you pick it up. Flashpoint Campaign's Southern Storm, a grand tactical war game set at the height of the Cold War. This game is pure fun, nonstop action, and a deep simulator of combat operations. You're going to have combined arms attacks, assaults, and defenses. You have air support, close air support, cluster munitions, napalm, chemical weapons, persistent chemical weapons, nuclear weapons, and just nonstop warfare. This game is so much fun. It's currently 50% off, and I highly recommend it, especially if you're looking to dive into a more hex based tactical war game. It's a turn based war game, but it has a real time strategy element to it. You do control each individual hexes, but the battles play out in real time as a WeGo system. You will not be disappointed if you pick up Flashpoint campaigns. I enjoy it. I mean, I like the airstrikes, I like the long range artillery, the rockets, and all types of weapon systems at my fingertips. You're going to fight across several campaigns and several different types of missions. Each battle will last between 4 hours and 24 hours of in game time. There's tons of turns. The developers are really active in their community, and it's actually based off of a professional simulator as well. So, this is both public and professional. So, if you're really into that hardcore military thing, this is the game for you. The next one on our list calls itself the Ultimate Next Gen World War III Battle Simulator. This is Warno. You will be using combined arms tactics and warfare to destroy and obliterate your enemy on the battlefield. However, it is not deeply discounted at this time. It is 25% off and retails normally for $39.99. So you can pick it up for $29.99. However, I cannot talk about strategy games without bringing Warno into the fray. Warno is fun. It's just a ton of fun to play. It's micro heavy, but there's ways to pause it and really think out your strategy. I find myself being primarily a skirmish player, but Warno is just one of those games I'm always playing or always thinking about playing. The graphics are absolutely beautiful, stunning, and good looking, whatever words you want to use. There's an enhanced battle groups building system. Overall, the developers constantly update the game. They balance, they tweak it, and they continue to release DLC. They do have several grand campaigns that have just released. The game does launch with 6 nations. However, Warno is fun, it's micro heavy, and you're going to have a good time playing it, but it's just not one of those deeply discounted games at this time. The grand campaign is turn based. You're going to witness an ever evolving battlefield. There's urban landscapes, hillsides, sprawling forests, and fields. It is by far one of the best looking strategy games on this list. And if you're really into the Cold War and really into Warno, you're going to find something here to like. Welcome to the next one on our list. This is Panzer Corps 2. It's been in development for almost 5 years now. It's the ultimate Second World War II strategy game. There's a hardcore, extremely dedicated community. There's a thriving PvP scene, and there's a ton of content for this game. It consists basically from the start of the war all the way to the end, and I think there's even a DLC for the Spanish Civil War. Overall, Panzer Corps 2 is truly that ultimate World War II simulator. It's going to bring you through so much combat. It has so much content, and it's a ton of fun to play. It's currently discounted at 60% off, so you can pick this game up for $15.99 at this time. And I think that's an absolute steal. You do not need all the DLCs. You can play this game without them. And I've purchased several of the DLCs myself. Overall, it's a ton of fun. Um, it just has this proven gameplay formula. It's primarily a hex based. The graphics look absolutely fantastic. And it comes with massive branching campaigns that include over 60 scenarios, and it's really going to draw you into that World War II battlefield. And it's something like I picked up several years ago, and it's really what got me into content creation. This and Graviteam both got me into content creation, and they got me back into wargaming. There's over 1,000 different units at your fingertips. While that does sound like a bit much, there's so much for you to play. There's so many different types of rocket units, anti-aircraft units. Welcome to Axis and Allies 1942 Online, the official digital version of Hasbro's classic strategy game. This game, if you've never played it or if you don't have time to play the board game, is really easy to pick up and play. It's a ton of fun. I play it just when I'm bored or in my off time, or really when I don't want to dive into something that's too complicated, that takes multiple hands to use, or that takes a ton of thought. It's just a digital board game that's easy to play. It's great for new players. There's no setup, there's no cleanup required. There's tons of tutorials, in-game tool tips. There's also solo play and PvP. So if you really want to dive into the PvP that's asynchronous, you can just do that asynchronous and just play a PvP match that fits your schedule. They now allow 24 hours to take your turn. Super easy, super fun to pick up and play. Overall, it's a fun game. While it is a board game, it is dice based. You will be moving your units around the battlefield. You'll be conducting combat, and there are 4 units or 4 hostile nations on the battlefield to go against you. There's air combat, naval combat, ground combat, tanks, and infantry. All types of combat, easy to pick up, easy to play. And if you're just looking to play a board game and you don't really want to just set up or tear down, then there you have it. Especially when people always want to see like this Japan more in strategy games. Axis and Allies has that, so you can obviously play as the Japan and kind of simulate that Eastern China invasion, if that's something you wanted to do. However, I mean that's not exactly what people want, but if you have a busy schedule, easy to pick up and play, you're gonna have something to play. The final one on our list is another Cold War simulator. This is Regiments, a real-time tactics war game set in Germany in 1989. The Cold War has gone hot and the inferno is raging. I adore Regiments. I'm excited for the new DLC, Winds of Change, and this game is currently retailing for 30% off, so you can get it for $20.99 at this time. There's an aggressive AI that's going to challenge the most experienced RTS players. Regiments is primarily or is only a single player focused game. There's a ton of scenarios for you to play through. They have a lot of replay value, but where the true meat and bones is going to be in the the Winds of Change DLC. They are trying to add like a persistent like skirmish mode where the objectives will move around and they won't be replayed the same way each time. However, for a game that's developed by a solo developer, it looks absolutely beautiful. There's over 100 authentic vehicles beautifully modeled. You're going to see the T-72, the T-80, and the Bradley just slugging it out on the battlefield. He's provided tons of free content, 2 new operations, and he continues to update the game, and it's just so much fun to pick up and play sometimes. If you're just looking for an easy skirmish game with very, very little micromanagement, then you're going to enjoy Regiment. If Warno's too much and Company Heroes is too fast, then Regiment is going to be the perfect pace for you. You can pause it. There's not that many units on the battlefield, and you'll be commanding just a small force, which is known as a regiment. So you're going to assign it companies, and you're going to put just tanks and platoons on the battlefield. They've added tons of new content. I really enjoy the company aspect where you put these massive formations on the battlefield, and they just slug it out. We just have like 10, 15 T-72s, Bradleys, M113s, just raining hellfire down on the opposing unit. You're the commanding officer of all these units. They're going to just obey your commands. And let's not forget like the on and off map artillery. The airstrikes look gorgeous. The napalm, the cluster strikes, the flares, smoke screens. Regiments is the complete package for an easy to pick up, easy to play, Cold War focused war game. And it's super cheap right now. And especially if you pick it up before the DLC drops, you're going to have fun. I have fun playing Regiments all the time.